World of the Crystal Cave and the Spiritual French Connection. Each of you has come into this world for a purpose. When you go to the Crystal Cave, you meet your master teacher, spirit guides. As you bathe in the crystal bathing pool, it changes colors so that you can cleanse your mind, body, and soul in the light. You'll work with humanity at the crystal healing table, as well as yourself. Remember, world harmony begins with you. You will channel information that will help humanity as you work with your master teachers in the Crystal Cave. This is for someone who has been on the path for many years, as well as the beginner. Order Crystal Cave now so you can move forward on your personal path to enlightenment. Call 1-800-237-6300 to be the spiritual person you desire to be. And of course, you can order the newsletter by calling 1-800-237-6300. Crystal Cave. Join the world, join humanity, and help your fellow man. I don't deserve it. I can't have it. The other guy always gets it. How many times have you said that to yourself, hated yourself, and continued to set up a self-destructive belief base, reinforcing it every day with those words? Well, now you can have a longer version of Theater of Your Mind with peaceful ocean scenes. Stare into the candle flame for deeper concentration as you watch the psychedelic colors flow onto the screen, going deeper and deeper, down, 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 even before you close your eyes. Hi, I'm Daze. Now, you can see yourself as you want to be for a much longer length of time. You can work on specific goals with complete privacy using this personal Theater of Your Mind video. Project yourself into a new future now. Accomplish all of your conscious goals. What an easy way to create a new subconscious belief base. Simply call 1-800-237-6300 for your personal Theater of Your Mind video, so you can be a winner with speed, ease, comfort, and joy.
Pushing, pulling, lifting. The old-fashioned way to transport patients. In the healthcare industry, moving patients can be hard on the body and inefficient at best. There has to be a better way. And there is. PHS West develops innovative self-propelled products for the healthcare industry with our entire line of Ergo Express drive systems. Motovec, the CVM card, the laundry card, medical X-ray records card, and the Ergo Express Drive gurney system, which can be retrofit onto virtually any stretcher. Let PHS West show you the solution, a common-sense, cost-effective transport solution. As hospitals continually strive for cost efficiency, PHS West specializes in the concept of motorization, making your staff more efficient in how it transports patients. Why motorization? Because in today's multi-specialty hospital environment, the need to transport patients continues to increase. And often it's necessary to utilize multiple staff members to safely transport patients due to heavy loads and long, difficult distances, a problem compounded by larger patients. The Ergo Express Drive increases staff efficiencies and cost savings that could show a 1-year return on investment with just 3 patient transports per day. There's no need to discard your current stable of stretchers and gurneys. Your stretcher is well designed, strong, and stable. This system can be easily retrofit to each gurney, providing simple, no-strain operation. And when it comes to moving patients from department to department, a stretcher retrofit with the Ergo Express Drive by PHS West does the work for you. And it's easy to operate. Simply turn the key, and with a light squeeze of the throttle, you're on your way. Because the stretcher is self-propelled, it's easier to maneuver down hallways, on carpet, ramps, or around corners. To stop the unit, simply release the throttle. It's self-braking. Size and strength of the operator doesn't matter. A self-propelled stretcher using the Ergo Express drive makes your job safer, more cost-efficient, and reduces the potential for repetitive or acute stress injuries. Hospitals can achieve these cost efficiencies because one person can safely transport even the largest patient. The Ergo Express drive can help reduce the risks associated with work-related musculoskeletal disorders, or WMSDs, commonly referred to as cumulative stress injuries, injuries caused from repetitive stress to certain joints and muscles. Consider the costs of losing a healthcare worker to cumulative stress of an acute injury. Your facility not only loses the knowledge and experience of a highly educated and skilled worker, but you're also faced with workers' compensation, as well as the cost of training a new employee, both in terms of dollars and time spent. Worse yet, the injured employee faces the prospect of losing his or her career. The Ergo Express drive may also provide a means for compliance with hospital ergonomics and occupational health and safety requirements. Stretchers utilizing the Ergo Express drive system developed by PHS West are the affordable answer to these everyday problems. Motorized stretchers can help reduce the stress a body endures and keep a valuable trained employee on the job. The Ergo Express drive is a manufacturer's model-specific retrofit kit. It's designed to allow for easy, non-compromising installation by your facility's engineers. Tight spaces are a snap with the Ergo Express drive. This retrofittable gurney system is equipped with a fully retractable drive. This revolutionary feature allows the operator complete maneuverability in tight patient rooms when the drive is retracted, and self-propelled safety upon demand. Think about the extra strength or people it takes to move a patient up and down ramps. Getting over elevator thresholds is a problem. Even carpeting presents a challenge. But with the Ergo Express drive, all of those problems disappear with the touch of a finger. The Ergo Express drive gurney system makes sense financially as well. When you look at a simple transport cost analysis for an average healthcare facility, eliminating the need for a second staff member saves a considerable amount of money.
I like these stretchers because it requires only one person to operate them and to do a transport, so I've got more staff available to put on other assignments. We were able to pay for these stretchers through the labor savings by reducing the staff required to do the transports to such a point that we were able to pay for 3 of these stretchers in less than a year. And now we're just looking at additional savings multiplying daily.
It's a common sense and cost-effective solution to transporting patients. The Ergo Express drive gurney system increases staff efficiency and helps reduce work-related injuries.
The self-propelled stretchers are incredibly easy to use. There's been no problems with staff. Everybody's picked up on it immediately. It's just, they've been great. They're fantastic.
Call PHS West and start safely cutting transport costs today.
This is the old homestead. I was just a little guy here 65 years ago. My family grew here for generations before me. Together, we made a home for wild animals. Helped clean the air, provided people with recreation and jobs. Then one day, I heard the call of destiny. Tree! That's me. Pack your trunk! Well, when destiny speaks, I listen. Or maybe I just wanted to have some fun. Well, some of us are meant to stand, strong and rooted in the land. But some of us just gotta roam. We gotta hit the road, away from home. There's so much for me to see. There is such a lot to be. It's written in my destiny. All because I am a tree. I'm gonna go completely to pieces here. I can tell. Parts of me are gonna be made into boxes and bags and newspapers and books and toy boxes. And that's just fine. But to tell you the truth, I have a dream. I'm a simple guy. What I know about is standing straight, protecting things, and being part of something bigger. My dream is to be a house, a home. It's possible, you know. Most homes in this country are made of wood, from trees. 'Cause we're strong, but not too heavy. We don't rust. We can be made into different shapes and sizes. Oh, we're good insulators. That means we keep out the heat in the summer and cold in the winter. And you can grow all the trees you need. Never gonna run out. I suppose I'm going out on a limb here, but I believe I'm perfect for the job. Everything's important in a house. It'd be swell to be a big timber, but I'd be happy as 2x4s or plywood. See, plywood's glued together like a sandwich, but it won't fit in a lunchbox, because these sheets are wider than the trees they come from. Yeah, this must be the place. A building site. Now, you see those guys down there? No, not those guys. Down to the right. No, up, and hey, yo, yeah, those guys. All right, now, those wooden forms hold the concrete that makes the foundation that holds the house straight and level. All right, good job, guys. Whoa, what's that? Oh, they're bolting the house to the foundation. The foundation holds the house in place so it won't blow away or wash away in a storm. Hey, way to go! I hope I see some action pretty soon. I'm a little bored. That's a joke. I'm a little bored. Okay, this is more like it. I'm posts that'll support the floor beams. I'm beams that go sideways across the posts to carry the floorboards. I'm boards that go over the beams to make the floor. I'm a stud. Seriously, in house building, studs are placed up and down to make the frame for the walls. And I'm plywood that's nailed to the studs to make it sturdy and strong. I'm headers that go over windows and doors. Up here! Hey, up here! I'm trusses and rafters that go at an angle to hold up the roof. And roof boards that are nailed to the rafters. Now that's what I call a view. You know, I heard life in the big city was fast, but this is ridiculous. I think these guys have had too much sugar today. Hey! What's the hurry? What's he up to in there? Oh, he must be the electrician. All right, like lightning in the woods, but you don't get a bill for lightning. Now that'd be the plumber there. Like the stream that ran by me in the woods all those years. I never saw folks working so well or so fast together to get a hard job done. These guys are good. Well, well, aren't we looking fine? There are about 25 trees in this house, all buddies of mine. Met them back at the mill. Makes me proud to see how well they turned out. We're the decks and fence, even the bark dust in the yard. Anything that couldn't be made into a wood product was made into paper or used to generate electricity back at the mill. I'm gonna like it here. Yep. This is the place. I found my dream, I am a home. I found my dream, I am a home. And do you know that for every one of the trees that were harvested to build this home, 5 seedlings, those are little bitty guys, were planted? That's more than 1 billion new trees every year. Foresters take good care of the trees they plant, managing the forests so they grow strong and healthy. Recycling wood and paper products helps you to use the same trees over and over again. That way, there'll always be plenty of us to be home to wild things. I meant home to wild animals. And to people, too.
There's so much for me to see, such a lot that I can be. It's written in my destiny, all because I am a tree.
Chip off the old block.
You know why I called you in, don't you, Jonathan?
No, Mr. Jackson, I'm not sure why.
Because of your action, Jonathan, we have no other choice but to terminate our association with you. This firm is no longer in need of your services.
You're firing me? You don't know who you're dealing with, Ray.
Oh, no, Jonathan. I know exactly who I'm dealing with. And this firm will back me 100%.
And cut. That's a take. Good work, people. Let's take a break.
Thanks. Hello, I'm Jim Hubbard, and I'm an actor. An actor with a disability. I've been in this wheelchair for the past 6 years. And while it is tough for any actor to land a role, it can be more of a challenge if you have a disability. The same is true when looking for a job. You see, millions of people with disabilities join the workforce every year. And these people bring a wide variety of talents, skills, and dedication to the workforce. It's up to you, as a person with a disability, when competing for a job, to show an employer you have these attributes and that you can do the job. There are over 43 million people in America who have a disability. Most employers who interview applicants for job openings on a day-to-day basis rarely, if ever, deal with individuals who have a visible disability. What keeps many people with disabilities from being hired is not their disability, but their prospective employer's misconception of it. It's up to you, the job seeker, to show the employer that, disability or no disability, you're the right person for the job. You have the skills and qualifications, and having a disability does not interfere with your ability to do the job. This is the 5th tape in the Ultimate Job Search series. The purpose of this tape is to take a closer look at certain interviewing techniques unique to people with disabilities. Our goal is to guide you to a successful job interview. Prior to the interview stage of the process, you have all the tools and techniques available to you for your own job search. But it's the all-important job interview that will make or break your chances of getting that job.
Hello, Linda. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Boston.
Please come in. Thank you, Lisa.
May I take your arm?
Please.
I really appreciate your seeing me.
Oh, please have a seat.
Well, thank you. Have you been outside this morning? The weather is just gorgeous.
This particular situation seemed to start off pretty smooth, didn't it? Well, you see, Linda had to do a lot of preparation just to get to this stage. And that's what we'll do in this video. Give you the steps you need for your own interview. So let's backtrack to see what it takes to get to this stage of the process. From there, you can determine what steps you need for your own interview situation. First, let's say you've done all the preliminary work in your job search. You've determined that you're qualified for the job. You've researched the company you think you want to work for and sent them a resume. But as you contact the employer, when is the best time to reveal you have a disability?
Your 10 o'clock is here.
Thanks, Tammy. Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dale.
Come on in. Did you have any trouble finding this place?
No, I didn't. I drove down here over the weekend to see how to find the place and to look for parking.
That's smart.
The employer is put in an uncomfortable position because he didn't know the applicant was missing a limb. It starts the interview off in an uncomfortable way. It could throw off the rhythm of an interview and make it difficult to get back on track. It's unfortunate, too, because often decisions to hire a person are made in the first 90 seconds.
It's important to think through what you're going to say to an employer and when it's appropriate to discuss a disability. There are several opportune times when you can disclose this to an employer, but the sooner the better. Being upfront first is usually best.
If you have a visible disability, the best time to let the employer know is when they first call you for an interview. Now, you see, the employer feels you're qualified for the job, or they wouldn't give you a call in the first place, okay? Also, make sure to discuss your disability with the person who will be conducting the interview, not the secretary or the assistant who's making up the schedule. And if you haven't spoken directly to the person during the interview, then you need to call before the interview. Let them know of your situation. And here's what you want to do. You want to be professional, be honest, and be positive. You want to leave the employer with the impression that you can do the job.
It's best if you make the call yourself. But if you're uncomfortable doing this, having a qualified third party call for you can be effective, if that person has good communication skills and rapport with the employer. The caller should be somebody that you've been working with in your job search, such as a placement specialist, a career counselor, or a professional job developer. But the overall message is, don't put yourself or the employer in an uncomfortable situation. This way you've laid the groundwork and have prepared the employer for what to expect. then you and the employer can focus on your qualifications for the job.
Mark, how you doing?
Fine, how you doing, Mr. Dale?
Thanks for letting me know about your disability.
Sure, I think it'd make it easier for both of us.
Sit down. Did you have any trouble finding this place?
No, I didn't. I drove down here over
The issue of
weekend to see
disclosure
where it was.
is one that is ultimately your decision. No matter what the law says about disclosure, the important thing here is to help you and the employer feel at ease. They need to see you as someone who can be a great asset to their company. Okay, so now you're ready for your interview. There are a few important tips to be aware of before going into the interview. First, you need to dress the part. Dress comfortably, but professionally. Also, go alone. Show the employer you can handle things on your own. If you're blind, guide dogs, of course, are appropriate. The workbook gives you more information on interviewing tips for your own disability. Then, be prepared.
Still nothing yet, huh?
No, still nothing.
Can you believe that? A half an hour late already.
You need to be aware and knowledgeable of what your surroundings will be and how they may affect your own disability. For instance, if you're deaf, will you need someone to sign for you? If you're blind, are you going to need assistance getting there? And once you get there, you may have to fill out some paperwork, such as an application. Are you going to need help doing that? Let's say you're in a wheelchair and you get to your interview and the building isn't accessible. What do you do? Any of these can and may throw your interview off course. It's critical to explore the situation prior to the interview.
Be prepared before your interview. Do some research. Make a dry run prior to the interview so you're aware of what to expect. This will make the process easier for you. Now realize that there may be some unanticipated situations that are beyond your control, but the more prepared you are, the more comfortable the process will be.
So Dan, I see you're handicapped. How long have you been confined to that wheelchair?
So what questions can you expect in your own interview? Well, some employers are insensitive and may, out of ignorance, ask rude or intrusive questions. So be prepared for that. Simply turn your disability into an ability. Be ready with positive responses and show them how you can do the job.
So Linda, how can you work on a computer if you're blind?
I lost my vision several years ago, so I'm pretty well adapted to doing this sort of work. I've been a computer programmer for 12 years now, and I've acted as consultant to several businesses. In fact, here's a copy of my resume.
Thank you. This is very impressive.
Thank you.
Put the employer at ease and present yourself positively. If you're asked, give a brief explanation of your disability and move on. Then focus on your skills and your strengths and what you can do for the company. And most important, don't use your disability as an excuse.
What is your greatest weakness?
Well, my weakness is pretty obvious, don't you think? I'm in a wheelchair. What do you think my greatest weakness is?
The greatest weakness question is full of temptation to answer negatively about having a disability. Even if your disability is challenging, resist the temptation to flag it as a weakness. Keep the interview focused on your abilities and qualifications.
There's a stereotype out there that some people with disabilities may have a chip on their shoulder, that they're grumpy, negative people. You know, having a disability means that society owes them something. And you may meet some employers who have this attitude. But that's an opportunity to change their attitudes by your actions.
Is there anything that would prevent you from performing the duties associated with this job?
Experienced interviewers ask this routinely of every job seeker. One of the biggest decisions to make is deciding, when do I let this employer know what I'll need to help accommodate me in doing this job better? Do I bring it up, or do I wait for them to? These are important considerations to make.
As the interview moves along, there will be a time when you have to inform the employer of what accommodations you'll need. But let the topic come up naturally in the conversation. If the employer is interested in hiring you, they'll probably be the one who'll bring it up. And if it is brought up, be upfront and honest about your needs. Make sure you've done research and have a clear idea of what you'll need prior to the interview. Have alternative solutions and resources for accommodating your needs. Taking the initiative shows the employer you're interested in the position and you're willing to be a team player.
If it gets close to the end of the interview and nothing's been mentioned about any requirements, then at that time it's appropriate that you bring it up. You know, many employers are probably unaccustomed to accommodating a person with a disability. They think that a specific accommodation might cost thousands of dollars, you know, and that would disrupt their usual business operations. But that's not true. In reality, most accommodations usually cost less than $225. Sometimes nothing, just a little imagination.
Linda, I'm concerned about you being able to do this job.
Well, working from the specifications for the job, I've done some research. You see, there's computer software available and other types of adaptive equipment that will allow a blind person to do computer programming and record keeping. In this catalog, you'll find several types and cost estimates, and that will probably help answer many of your questions. And by the way, I'd be more than happy to help facilitate setting up a work site.
Under the laws of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, employers with more than 15 employees are obligated to provide reasonable accommodations to qualified job candidates with disabilities. But there are certain circumstances when they are not obligated.
Well, this is when it gets complicated. There are a few stipulations where an employer does not have to comply with an individual's accommodations. Stipulations include any accommodations that may cause undue hardship to a company, if it's not a business necessity, or if it's a financial burden, even if it's a health or safety hazard. But some cases may have to be decided in a court of law. It's not up to the employer to figure out how to accommodate a disability. It's up to you to provide the employer with specific research of what a reasonable accommodation would be, how to obtain it, and how much it will cost. Most accommodations fall under the ADA and can be written off as a federal tax deduction.
You should always be the first source of the solution to what you'll need. So the more you know about your own specific needs and accommodations, the more helpful it will be for the employer. It'll show them that you're a team player and you're willing to help make it easier for them. There are resources and phone numbers in the workbook to give you more information on ADA.
So how are you going to get to work on time? How do you get dressed in the morning?
This is obviously an illegal question. What happens if you're asked questions like this about your disability? What should you do?
If you're asked an illegal or inappropriate question, answer the question as best you can and try to turn it into a positive. Refusing to answer or being defensive can eliminate you from getting the job. While on the same note, don't assume that you'll get the job because the employer fears ADA sanctions. You don't want to use that as a weapon just to get the job.
I've been in this wheelchair a long time now, and it's kind of like today. I didn't have any problem getting myself ready for this interview or even getting down here. I really don't see it as an issue.
Now, what if there's a disability that is not obvious? For example, something like a knee injury, diabetes, arthritis, or something like a bad back. Do you need to disclose that kind of information to an employer?
Okay, let's say you're in an interview situation and you don't have a visible disability and it won't affect your ability to do the job. There's no reason to let the employer know that. But on the other hand, if there is something that would definitely inhibit you from performing an essential function of the job, you gotta mention it. Or you could be fired for not disclosing it later. And here's the trick. This should be done at the post-offer, pre-acceptance stage of the interview at the very latest. For example, let's say you've had back surgery, okay, and you're applying for a job that involves some heavy lifting or sitting for long periods of time. You got to tell the employer of this, but state it in a positive way. Don't say, well, I can't lift anything over 20 pounds. You want to say, I can lift up to 20 pounds, but I will need an accommodation over that. Now, I've researched accommodations for this particular job, and I have found a device that is inexpensive and that will allow me to do the job. See? You state it in a, this is what I can do statement, not in a what I can't do statement. And don't discuss details of your disability.
End the interview with a firm handshake and a positive, upbeat statement like, I know I can do this job. Let them know you're the right person for the job. Then a few days after the interview, Call the employer and reinforce your enthusiasm for the job. Ask if they've made a decision yet, and if not, is there any additional information they need to know? Show the employer that you are interested, that you are qualified, and that you can do the job. In any interview situation, you need to keep a positive, upbeat attitude. Take control of the disability issue. Many employers may have a preconceived notion that you can't do the job because of your disability, but you need to show them that you can do the job. Get the upper hand by raising the issues yourself early in the interview to avoid any confusion or concern. Keep the interview focused on your qualifications and what you can do for them. Just like the role I'm playing now. The part didn't call for a person with a disability to play the character, but after I auditioned for the role and the producer saw what I could do, he gave me the part. Having a positive attitude and a willingness to work hard is what landed me the job. You've got to go after what you want and show that employer you're right for the part. I know you are. Good luck.
Okay, let's get back to work, people. We need to set up for the next shot.